All right, back again for another Legion premiere. How you guys doing? Grugs here, Legion Tactical Cutlery. Welcome back, troops, Legionnaires, and new recruits. As always, really appreciate you all taking the time to check out my channel and my videos. In front of you today, we have the SDOKEDC drop point Bushcrafter in DC53 tool steel. Another great option, a great budget blade, $40 on Amazon. Christmas is right around the corner, gift giving, all that stuff. You have somebody out there that you know loves the outdoors, likes to do some woodworking. Well, I'm going to show you this knife because it's going to be a good one. This is a really nice Scandi blade. Did a little testing yesterday, digs in big time. A little difficult for me to make feather sticks with this knife because it just wants to dig into the wood, but that's usually pretty much all Scandi knives. But they did a good job with this one, in my opinion, for the price. What's everybody carrying? I have my no-name brand bird and trout knife. At least that's what I'm going to call it. Okay, now Throw Club is going to come out with a version of this. They're going to put their logo on it. They're sending me one, so can't wait to review that when the time comes. I figure I might as well wait for that, but this is also a good self-defense knife, man, you know? In any case, let me know what you guys are carrying in the chat and in the comments section. Appreciate that. And let's quickly go over specs of this knife. Okay, once again, this is the SDOKEDC Bushcrafter drop point Scandi. Overall length is 9.01 inch, blade length 4.27 inch, blade material DC53 tool steel, blade hardness 60 to 61 HRC, blade thickness 3.65 millimeters, blade width 1.24 inch, handle length 4.54 inch, handle width 0.78 inch, handle thickness 0.76 inch, handle material is micarta, weight 5.99 ounce, sheath weight is 3.39 ounce, total weight approximately 9.31 ounce. Now some of these measurements I had to do on myself because they don't provide all the measurements. So, and it does feature a full tang, lanyard hole, a kydex sheath, and a tech lock. Great, got that out of the way. Let's take a look at this budget Bushcrafter right here in DC53 steel. Now, I might be crazy, I don't know, but I see a slight micro bevel right there. It just could be my eyes. I mean, I know I'm getting old, but I think that there's a little, see that gleaming, that shining edge? Could be me, I don't know, but I think that there is a very slight micro bevel. In any case, this knife is extremely sharp. All right, so drop point, spear point, but it's a Scandi grind, so it goes up a quarter of the way of the blade, in my opinion. All right. No sharpening choil, but it does have this flat area over here, so you won't make any kind of mistakes. No finger guard. I guess it's more woodworking than anything, right? So for the Bushcrafter, excellent handle. It's got the micarta scales. They do have a black stonewash, well, two-tone black and satin, okay? But this area over here, they do have black, so you can go check it out in the links below. I can't wait to put this one to the test. I'm going to hammer on it a little bit. You can see full tang goodness, removable scales, lanyard hole, very simple blade. You can see that the handle is contoured a little bit. Very comfortable in the hand no matter how it's held. Okay, so, oops, when the time comes I got to make a feather stick or a tent stake. I'm going to see how it is a little blocky right here. Okay, I'm going to see as I press down on it if I'm going to get a hot spot. So hopefully we'll be testing this knife and another knife from SDOKEDC that they sent next week, okay? But a very simplistic knife. There's nothing, you know, really fancy about this knife. This is a, in my opinion, down and dirty knife, you know? $40 gonna get you a really nice heavy-duty bushcraft knife. And, you know, there's really not much more to this blade. So let's take a look at the sheath. It is a taco style sheath, heavy duty, man. Heavy duty sheath, and I guess it's heavy because of this massive tech lock. They could have put a mini tech lock here instead, but they put a full size tech lock, obviously removable, okay? And you could put whatever you want here. You could put, if you have mini tech locks, you put the mini tech lock here. You can put a dangling system here, third party option. It does have very few rivet holes, unfortunately, but who's, you know, if you need to add something, you can drill your own hole. You could drill your own hole here. Something I haven't done, but, you know, I just thought of it. You could drill your own hole and then, you know, put whatever device that you want on here to make it fit properly without doing any damage to the rest of the Kydex sheath. So there's plenty of width here for do-it-yourself type projects. It does have a thumb ramp. I mean, it's heavy because of this, but it's a solid, you know, piece of Kydex. There's the drainage hole. So very, very simple blade right here. I'm sorry, Kydex sheath right here. It's effective and it'll protect you from getting cut, right? So there it is. Hold on a second. There it is right there. There's no up and down play, no side to side play. The retention is good. You know, just a really nice down and dirty knife. Now, a couple things that I did notice. You know, again, one of them being that this is a little blocky over here, but I'm sure a little bit of sandpaper will take care of that over here. Or, you know, you wrap up some tennis tape or whatever, give yourself a better grip. Tennis tape is actually not a bad idea. I mean, if you're going to be doing some baton with this, you know, might be good for a little extra grip. I think that tip should be robust enough to make a, you know, divot and stuff like that. But, you know, a very simplistic knife. Now, let me see if I can get up real close without going out of focus. You see that? You see that glint? I think there's a very, 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 very slight bevel on there. So I don't know if it's 100% Scandi. It cuts like one, though. Cuts like one. It's not too humid out, but we had a nice cold front, man. It was really nice for a few days. It was nice and breezy and windy. Now it's starting to get, you know, hot again, which I appreciate because I heard that people up north are starting to wear their jackets and hats and scarves. So that's kind of nuts, man. I'm glad I'm not in that. I'm still in shorts and sandals, but let me see if I can cut this paper for everybody. It doesn't feel, the paper doesn't feel like it's soaked up moisture, so, but nice. Okay. Once again, SDOKEDC provides an extremely sharp, out-of-the-box blade. And I have plenty of experience with DC53 steel. If the heat treat is done right, this knife should take a hell of a beating. Now, as always, I'm going to recommend, as always, you know, a saw and an axe with these type of blades, or actually any blade, to be quite honest, you know. I always take an axe and a saw with me, but obviously this is a channel that tests out knives. So I am going to test out the knife my way, that I know how, the best way I know how. But once I'm done with the knife, I'm pretty much taking an axe and a saw, and I'll use the axe and the saw to do most of the heavy duty work. But it's always good to know that your knife, if you get a little lazy, you don't want to, walk to your backpack or whatever to grab the saw or the axe, you know that this knife could, do the work. So that's why I do my type of testing. I know some of you like it, some of you don't agree. Oh well, what are you going to do? Now let's take a look at some wood here. Hold on a second. So I have this nice piece of wood right here. And I try to make feather sticks with this, and it'll do it. I just got to get used to the knife. But it wants to dig in, man. It just wants to dig in. I have to be very deliberate, because if you go too fast, then it just digs right in. But it is so sharp. Yeah, it just wants to dig in, man. So in my opinion, SDOKEDC got the angle right for the woodworking type stuff. Yeah, I got to get used to the knife. Scandi is really not my personal favorite, but I still appreciate them. I'm not really a true bushcraft type person. For me, if I go into the woods, it's either for game, cutting up some food, and then the most important thing is starting up a fire. That's what's important for me in a knife. Everything else is just secondary. Oh, there we go. Yeah, man, this thing just wants to dig right in. See? So it just wants to dig right in. See that? It just wants to dig right in. So I think for a budget bushcraft knife, it's gonna be your ticket, all right? $40 for this. How can you go wrong? You got a Kydex sheath. If you were to purchase this type of a Kydex sheath here with this type of tech lock, you're just gonna be spending easy $30 to $40 alone for the sheath. But you're getting this full tang knife with Micarta scales that are removable, that Kydex sheath. I mean, it's a no-brainer, man. It is a no-brainer. All right, troops. That's it, and next step is to test out these two knives from SDOKEDC that I received from them. So stay tuned for that. Sometime next week, these knives will be tested, and we'll see you then. Let me bring awareness, everybody. Hashtag 22 a day, hashtag 22 a day to more. There are veterans and active military. Once they get out of the service, they do face a lot of challenges. Unfortunately, one of these challenges is suicide. So when we're done here, go check out the comment section and the description section. There'll be phone numbers that you can call, websites that you can surf. A heartfelt message from one of your own, Martin Miller, Vietnam veteran, 66 to 69. He has a heartfelt message. Please seek the help that you all have earned and deserve. Troops, Legionnaires, new recruits, enjoy the rest of your weekend. At the ready, hold the line. Take care.